York for day 3 of the Dakota Lithium Bassmaster Elite at Lake Champlain. And on-location update is it has started to blow once again here on this tremendous fishery. And the reason that it's Sunday and it's only day 3 is our event was postponed one day on day number 2. But nothing has slowed down the prince of Japanese angling, Koya Fujita, with 66 pounds and an ounce. Trying to chase him down, Cody Huff, Alex Redwine, Justin Atkins, and Jay Securit, our reigning Dakota Lithium Rookie of the Year, is threatening to make a move on our Progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year title. But it's all about what's going on in the water, and I'm joined by Davey Height, Bassmaster Classic champion, 2-time Angler of the Year, and all things good on earth. Davey, what are you seeing?
So it's really interesting that you mentioned Jay Securit because, you know, obviously a great young smallmouth fisherman. We saw him catch over 100 pounds of smallmouth last year at Thousand Islands. Expect good things from him this week and last week. But I talked to him a little this morning on the dock, and he said, this place is really incredible. You see all the good rock formations and you know, like at Lake St. Clair or some of these other smallmouth lakes, if you see like the perfect setup of rocks, you know you're going to catch smallmouth. And he said, I can't catch anything there. All these fish that we're targeting are suspended fish. And like we all know, they're looking at them with forward-facing sonar. It's a very, very different tournament, even though we are here a little later than normal. It's a very different tournament. And it's kind of the haves and have-nots. Either you were in on the inland sea and forward-facing sonar and about a 4-mile stretch, or you got to trip over to Clayton, New York today or tomorrow.
Look at what's going on, Davey. I mean, let's call it out. Jeff Gustafson, Brandon Polinick, Seth Feider. The list goes on and on. Fantasy fishing players must be going absolutely bananas this weekend because they are money when we get to the north. But if you look at it, Polnick weighed in, and this is no shade on him, an incredible angler. His first 20-pound bag in the last 2 tournaments, we've been to Lake St. Clair, and here, that's kind of unheard of.
It is, and you're exactly right. I will take up for Polnick a little bit, though, because he was too nice, and he doesn't want to say negative things and blame it on, they got away. I saw him. He had, I think, a prop issue the first day. It cost him a little bit of time. But then also he didn't even tell me, somebody that saw it happen other than him, because he didn't want to be the guy that's saying, they all got off. But he lost 4 or 5 fish the first day that would have really, really helped him. But instead of complaining about it on stage, he was nice, as he always is, and says, hey, I got to go get him tomorrow. But a great point. You're 100% right. You see a lot of anglers like Polinick that it's really hard to explain why they are fishing today. Very, very hard to explain.
I'm throwing it out there. I mean, is it gotten to the time that these smallmouth anglers don't have an advantage anymore because forward-facing sonar has literally leveled the field, and not just leveled it, but decimated the field?
Well, it has, and you're right. But, you know, looking here at the way everyone's laid out there, that's the inland sea there on the right half of your screen there. Or I think that's actually the whole area. And you can see that it's kind of a have or have not. If you're not in that upper part of the inland sea, you're on the shore today for the most part.
For the second tournament in a row, we find our anglers grouped up together in this, your Toyota Midday Report. Let's catch you up with everything going on. And a very, very scary guy. Doesn't look scary when you see him in person. Very friendly, but scary with you look at how good he is.
Yeah, and when you think about Jay Securit, just like I just mentioned, everyone, to me, and I think everyone, I know you, everyone that I talked to, wow, what he did last year at Thousand Islands, being so young and catching 100 pounds of smallmouth had never been done before, which is absolutely incredible. But you got to give him credit for having such a great year overall this year. When we started down south, he was having good tournaments there also. So he's just not a forward-facing sonar young guy that catches smallmouth. He did really well, even in the Bassmaster Classic this year. Just a great all-around fisherman and a good start for him this morning. The big deal here, and there's always that threshold, so to speak, that you have to catch. And Koya said it yesterday. You've got to weigh in 4+ pound smallmouth here. And I don't really remember that any time at Lake Champlain before. You'd have to have a few 4s, but you could weigh in some 3.5, 3 3/4. That threshold of 4 pounds, you've got to weigh in fish that are above 4 pounds.
Justin Atkins has definitely cracked the code to northern smallmouth. Not just a player this week, but I imagine he will be next week as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's an angler from the south that you say, wow, you know he's good there, but he's really proven in the last few years he's really, really good on these smallmouth lakes. Forward-facing sonar is certainly something that he's been able to really, you know, learn a lot about, and you see him excel with tournaments that he can use that. But I heard an angler this morning talking on the dock about, hey, we've all got it. You just need to learn to get better with it and that sort of thing. And that's a discussion we can certainly have another time. But all of these anglers do have access to the best equipment possible. Some have just really, really taken it to another level and know exactly what they're looking at and have confidence. And I think this is the last tournament, Lake St. Clair, and this tournament, not only Atkins, but a lot of other anglers, they're all in. It's like they never even thought about fishing for largemouth here. They're all in, forward-facing sonar, smallmouth.
From Blue Ash, Ohio, Alex Redwine.
Yeah. Alex Redwine joined the party with his roommate here at St. Clair and at Lake Champlain. Knew that he had the ability, you know, done really well making it to the Bassmaster Elite Series. Second place day one, second place day two, currently unofficially right now in third place. So, you know, let's not give the trophy to Koya quite yet, because Alex has really been the most consistent so far.
One of the coolest things this morning on the dock. I mean, I don't know what was going on. Number one, the anglers showed up like at 6:30. There was not a boat on the dock. Everybody showed up late. So maybe up last night watching the Sugar Show, big UFC fight last night. I don't know. But one of the coolest things this morning, I look down the dock and I see Rick Clund walking down the dock. Rick Clund walking down the dock to say hello to one person, and that person lives in the exact same town as him, and that's him right there, Cody Huff.
Yep.
Just to see that, so cool.
You and I are, when I'm on site, I'm on the dock every morning. Obviously, you're on the dock every single morning doing takeoff, but I noticed that this morning also. I was like, wow, what's Rick Clund doing? Because he, you know, if he doesn't make the cut, you never see him walking the dock in the morning. So must have a real, and we sort of knew this. We've heard Rick Clund talk about what a great angler Cody Huff is. But obviously, with him showing up there on the dock to wish him well this morning, showed that Rick Clund is certainly a big fan of Cody Huff. Yes. And who isn't? I mean, he's a super nice guy. I've enjoyed talking with him, you know, the last few years. A very, very nice guy, very well-rounded, versatile fisherman. He's not a guy that just catches smallmouth bass with forward-facing sonar. He catches fish all over the country.
You know what time it is, Davey? It's time to show reverence to the prince of Japanese angling, Hoya Fujita.
Well, you really, or I have seen this year how incredible he is with forward-facing sonar. And we knew that he would be a force to be dealt with when we came up north, because he used it at Lake Seminole, he used it at Lake Okeechobee. But there were a few. We even saw Lake Okeechobee, one with forward-facing sonar. I think there were two people using their forward-facing sonar at Lake Okeechobee. Koya was one, and obviously the winner used forward-facing sonar, Tyler Rivette. But at Lake Murray, Koya was the only angler that I saw when I was on the water most of the day, every day there at Lake Murray, my home lake. Absolutely incredible how good he is with this, and just like you mentioned before we came on set, he's going to be a force next week. But Cody Huff and Jay Secure, there's a lot of guys that hey, the Cowboy, you know, he beat him with it last event, so tournament's not quite over, but boy, I wouldn't bet against Koya Fujita this week or next week.
And how, I mean, the best, I got to say, I mean, somebody worked this out statistically. I'm just throwing it out there. But from my knowledge, the greatest rookie class in Elite Series history. I mean, 3 titles. Bryant Smith threatening to make his second top 10. You go through that list, there's literally 2 or 3 of the 11 rookies that haven't made a top 10.
Yeah, and we've both been around this sport. Oh, boy, this is a big one here for Bryant. We've both been around this sport for a long time, and that's unprecedented. It really is to have this many rookies. And everyone's talking about how good the rookie class will be next year because of the 9 tournaments, the EQ qualifiers, and all that sort of thing. But, boy, it's going to have to be incredible to be better than this group. Smallest fish for Bryant so far, a 3-pounder, and I just saw that fish jump. This is certainly bigger than a 3-pounder.
Brian Smith came into this season highly talked about. A lot of hype around him. A very versatile West Coast angler. And we're seeing that. I mean, this season.
Oh, come here. That'll help.
We definitely are, especially the second half of the season. I think I mentioned a little bit yesterday about just what you said. You heard a lot of talk, and kind of in the beginning, the first few tournaments, it's like, oh, he's getting his feet under him, and he certainly has done that.
Totally forgot to reset my drag after that last one. That looks like it's a 4-pounder. That's gonna help. That was just one of those isolated ones on the top. No school, no nothing, reeled that little baby Z2. Right over his head, he started chasing it, and then he had it. Aww. Nope. 3 3/4. Gladly take it though.
Still a good help for Brian Smith there, 3 3/4. The 12-ounce upgrade. 12 ounces goes a long way in this event. The weights are certainly tight. 2 pounds. I was looking at the leaderboard yesterday right at the end of the weigh-in, and boy, 2 pounds over 2 days was a big deal here at this event.
Oh yeah.
While Brian Smith calls, hook up with Patrick Walters.
Patrick, one of the few anglers we've seen catch quite a few of his fish on a jerk bait. Most anglers using soft plastics, whether it's a jig head or a drop shot.
Ooh, look at the one that was trying to eat it out of his mouth. Golly.
Boy, he put in the time to figure out smallmouth. He really did, and it is paying off for him.
Absolutely is. And you look at his resume since he's been on the elites. He's top 10 AOI every year, with a little struggle when we came north. So now that he's got that together,
look out.
He's one of those anglers he's going to win an AOI and or a classic, maybe multiple. He's still so young.
Yeah, when you look at his resume, it's hard to realize how short his career has been. Yeah. 4 wins, that's. You look at some incredible careers.
Yeah.
That don't have 4 wins.
Half the wins, don't have half the wins.
Headshotting it now.
He's catching him in a way that we know he is very, very good at.
He definitely is, and with the sun out today, I really thought we'd see even more fish, because the bait comes up to the surface more with the sun shining most of the time. With that, I thought we'd see more fish closer to the surface, which a lot of the reason these guys aren't using jerk baits, those fish are deeper than you can get a jerk bait to go for the most part. But I expected to see Patrick really excel this afternoon with the sun coming out more and more.
You see your TH Marine Championship Monday weather watch, a high of 72 degrees, low of 58. Some showers in the morning, a north wind, 5 to 10.
Oh, that's a perfect fishing day here on Lake Champlain.
And everybody's got permission. Take the day off work. If you're back in school, take the day off school.
I think
summer. Summer break. What better thing than Championship Monday?
I think a lot of our viewers will join us whether they take the day off or not. What's wrong with getting a little peek of Bassmaster Live while you're at work? Surely your boss will not mind.
The Prince of Japanese Angling once again hooked up.
So like we talked about earlier, all of these anglers have forward-facing sonar if they want it. I think maybe David Fritz doesn't even have it on his boat. He did the other day, but I think it fell off.
John Cox does not.
Okay, so John Cox.
Actually gave it away this week.
Wow.
Matt Airy forgot his graphs at home, and John Cox had one in the back seat. He said, I'm not using it. Here you go.
Yeah, but keep in mind, Matt Aries fishing today and John Cox is not.
Great point.
I
Great
mean,
point,
I love
Davey.
John Cox. I don't mean that in a bad way, but you gave your forward-facing sonar away, and he's just a nice guy. But you have to really start saying, so why is Koya catching more fish? Because there's a lot of boats around him. And sure, part of our top 10's around him, but there's also some boats around him that didn't do very well at all in this event. So you have to start looking at what he's doing. And that fish he just caught there, when he set the hook, that fish jumped
I don't think it's that big.
60, 70 feet away from his boat.
Yeah.
He's making longer casts to those fish than most of these anglers.
He's also 100% committed to that.
Sure.
It's a time in the sport where
Giant
you've got
school
pros
zone.
straddling.
They've just been chasing for
Like
a while.
they got 1 foot on the boat and 1 foot on the dock, and it's pulling away, and everybody knows how that ends.
So if you were, I mean, you've tournament fished your whole life. If you were on the Bassmaster Elite Series right now, would you be all in with forward-facing sonar?
I don't think so.
Nobody wants to hear my opinion on that, Davey.
No.
They'd rather hear
No.
yours, but
Not your opinion, but what you would feel like you had to do as an elite angler.
I have to. You have to.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, with the current rules, the way it is, you have to. You
Yep.
don't have a choice. I mean, you're seeing that.
Yep.
I honestly think if you look at, I don't know that there's anything that's ever affected our sport to this level. When
agree.
you think of the entire, look at the entire, I don't think it's a mistake that it's one of the greatest rookie classes ever. It coincides together. I think you look at, and if you're kind of like this tournament, for example, this is the most versatile fishery that we ever go to. You can win largemouth, you can win smallmouth. We've heard that the largemouth were on fire. John Cox said he was catching 100 a day in pre-fish.
Wow.
But anglers didn't do it because they went out to do it. But the smallmouth weighed more that they could
Yep.
chase.
We need to continue this when we come back from break because it's very interesting discussion. I can tell you're passionate about it, too.
You're going to get me in trouble. Stop it. Stop it, Davey Height. Nobody wants to know my opinion about anything, but I can't wait to ask your opinion on a few things when we get back from the Dakota Lithium Bassmaster Elite at Lake Champlain. Atop the leaderboard with 66 pounds and an ounce. Can anybody topple Mount Fujita? Koya Fujita leading once again on the Bassmaster Elite Series.
Fishing shallow looks like it'll be your best bet because then you get largemouth and smallmouth.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
That's a sick